Hi guys, I'm going to explain the rubric for the Let Me Love You remix project.
I used to believe I used to believe never let me down. I won't give up. I won't give up. I won't give up. I won't give up. Never let me down. I used to believe
Alright, so I gave you the stems.
been a hell.
They gave us the 4 stems right here. The lead, the organ, the piano, and the vocal. If you play them over in the session view, the vocal is at 100 beats per minute. It's twice as fast. So I would not play it over in the session view, but playing it over in the arrangement view, it's going to be at 200 beats per minute, so it's going to fit nicely. So you might use the arrangement view to really build your arrangement, organize things, and chop things up from here. I have given you 2 piano tracks that are the chords and the bass line. The first one is the chords for the chorus and the verses, and the second is the bass line for the verses and the chorus. Okay, so I would recommend putting those on new instruments. I put it on a piano, but that was just to get it out there for you. So put it on some new things that really sound nice. The first thing that you might want to do is make a drum beat. I've done a lot of things here to make the drum beats. I've got claps going on, kick drums, snare drums. Oh, with the snare drum, I put a little delay on it, but I've also got this noise. So every time the snare drum hits, I put a note in here that it's also doing the analog to make some noise. So that's a neat thing. So you might make your original drum beats. You could go into the shared drive and find some sort of drum loops and incorporate those. Make some different variations for different parts. So I like to label mine so I can drop everything out and just have just the kick drum playing by itself. Maybe then I add in the other parts. Okay, so putting each thing in its own track lets you have those options. The MIDI tracks, the piano tracks, right? I've got them in the piano. Put these on new instruments. Find new sounds that you'd like to use. Maybe use arpeggiators. Let's see, I think I had an arpeggiator on this. Yeah, maybe you make it with this sound. This has an arpeggiator on it. That'll add some different textures to it. The bass pattern. Make your own bass patterns. Here's the bass pattern I gave you. Maybe you make your own. Again, I gave this to you on the piano. So put it on some bass instruments, make it really nice. The existing vocals. I'm doing a lot of work here to chop up the vocals and make my own parts out of them. When I go through and I hear something interesting, I'm going up and setting a marker in here. I'm setting a marker in here. How you do that is right here with this set button. So say you find something interesting right there, you put it to that place and you hit set and boom, then a marker pops up here and you can click it and Command R and you can rename it, you know, whatever you want to rename it. All right, and then you can go back and chop it out. So I did some things here where I took these parts right here.
I used to believe.
And then I made that into this.
I used to believe.
Okay, and so we're chopping these parts and then we'll affect them and work with the fades and then we'll consolidate them and they'll consolidate into their own new clip. So an example of what I like to do is, so I took this part.
I used to believe.
And let's see, I probably put it right like that and I probably zoomed in and chopped it about right here. Command E, chop, and Command E, chop. And I probably copied this, duplicated it. Oh, I bet I might have moved it over a little bit. Yeah, and so these fades, if you go over here to audio fades, it'll show the fades and then you can start to move them around and that will kind of hide things or make different crossfade options for you. So I worked with that a whole lot and then I consolidated it. I tell it how much of it I want to take. So this is probably going to make 4 measures from measure 40, 41, 42, 43. It's going to make 4 measures. And I can control click and get consolidate, but the shortcut is Command J. So Command J, and it consolidates and it makes it into a brand new 4 measure clip. All right. And so now it glued it all together, right? It glued it all together. And so that I can make that be in any part of my song now. Another thing with vocals is, let's check this out. I want to use this part and maybe make it into an instrument. It's the most fascinating sound. I was wondering if I could use that somehow. Command E makes it cut. Drop that down. Oh, let's solo that. Oh, and I wanted to bring that onto a simpler. All right, let's see what we can do with this. All right, so that could be pretty fun. All right, create new transition sounds. Create new transition sounds. I wanted to do this with a cymbal sweep. We get a cymbal crash. We make a cymbal crash. We give the length 4 measures or so. we add in an audio effect like a reverb. Drag in a reverb onto that track. Make it a super long decay time. Okay, and then we freeze and flatten it. Control, freeze, because we want to be able to reverse it. So that's why we got to turn it into audio. Whatever else is on this track is going to get turned into audio. So I'm only building the cymbal sweep on this. I'm also building the kick drum thing for the end of it. And control and flatten. Okay, so now it's audio. And now I can reverse it. And whenever I want a cymbal sweep in there. All right. I also wanted to build one of those out of noise. So, all right. We're going to make a noise sweep. So we have the analog, and we're going to turn off the oscillators and turn on the noise. And we're going to adjust the amp level and the color. Okay, and then we'll make a clip in here, and we'll make it about 8 measures long, and we'll make a note in there. Here we go. Note. We'll make a note. Draw it long. Okay, and then we'll bring in an auto filter, and we will draw in, record in the parameters. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Great. Maybe we can fix that a little bit. See what that does. Freeze it. Flatten it. All right, now it's audio. Okay, let's see. And we can take this over to the arrangement view, to the noise sweep channel, and here's where we could really fix it, because I'm not too happy with what it looked like it was doing. Yeah, so maybe we want it to chop it right there or something, and chop it right there, and then cut off this part, and then we want 8 measures, maybe 172 to 180. So we'll just consolidate this part and control, consolidate. Now we have an 8 measure thing, and we could reverse it. Boom, now we have a noise sweep, right? Okay, and you could use that as you wish. Drag it back over into the session view and have it where you want it, and it's a nice noise sweep. Okay. Oh, you create use chords, use simple sounds, create risers and drops, and then make an effects rack for the master track. So you might go to audio effects, and you could make one of these, or you could find one. You got to drop it onto the master track, and there we have these knobs, and now you can use them.
I used to believe.
Okay, so that might be really fun. All right, have fun.